Steve here with Half Dozen Customs. We're back out here on the Monte Carlo today for a little Money Monday action. We had left off last week with getting the passenger side fender sealed and sealed up a couple spots on the driver's side that we had repaired. And I had said something about maybe this week getting the firewall painted. So that's what we're going to work on. So I'm going to remove these fenders and core support, and we're going to go set them aside and start getting this firewall prepped out. Now this is just a firewall. Majority of it's going to be hidden by a motor and brake setup. So I'm not super concerned on how it's going to look. I think for the most part we're just gonna kind of scuff it up and shoot it. Now there is a couple spots where we did body work, so I'm gonna make sure that we don't have any sand scratches there. We will probably sand some of the flat areas and then scuff the rest, and then we got a couple spots that we need to seam seal up and let that seam seal dry. Now I recently painted something that I seam sealed, and we probably painted over the seam seal within like 20 minutes. And I would have to look at the can. I think the can says that it's paintable within 45 minutes, and I may have rushed that other one a little bit. Like I said, it may have been 20-25 minutes, and it like solvent popped real bad where the seam sealer was. So we're gonna get it ready and get it seam sealed, and then I'm probably gonna let it sit for an hour or so before we do anything else with it. So but yeah, let's get to it. Let's get these fenders off and this core support off, and blow this bad boy off and start we'll start scuffing and getting it all scuffed up. So okay, I'm going to continue scuffing this and get it all scuffed up, and when we come back to sand it with a little 320. I do see some spots that I want to hit with some 320. We'll be back. Alright, got some, I got a little 220 here for a couple of the heavier spots, and then I got some 320 to get the rest of it. Okay, we're gonna seam seal. This is the seam sealer I use. It's 08368. It's 3M urethane seam sealer. So and it says 30 minutes to cure. So I just wanted to read that again. Alright, I think that looks good. So, now what I'll do with this, because we didn't use a whole lot of it, I'll tape this up really well and try and get it so that it's sealed, and then just leave it. And then when I go to use it the next time, I try and have extras of these tips, and if I don't have extras, I usually just shove a screwdriver down through this side, come up through the other side of it, and get all that out. It'll come out. Sometimes, usually when they're brand new and you push one time with this, they'll usually pop right out. And then it's reusable again. One thing that I would suggest is getting, I don't know exactly, oh, here it is. So it's a 9-inch extreme duty caulk gun, number 3989, by a company called Red Devil. I got this on Amazon, and it is the best caulk gun I have ever owned. I used to just buy those cheap orange ones that you can get from Menards for like $9. And those work fine when you're using a brand new tube. But as soon as you go to use a used tube, and it seals itself inside the caulk tube, those orange ones are not strong enough to break that seal again. But this thing breaks it no problem, and it's just one of the smoothest flowing. When you squeeze it, like it's just super smooth. And when you squeeze it, you get full action all the way to when you're, you know, collapsed on the trigger. Where those orange ones, like, you find yourself like squeezing and pumping just to get some out, and you end up with like a booger as you're going along because you're squeezing it so much. This, like, you could probably make a pass all the way across that with one squeeze of this. So it makes a huge difference having a good caulk gun. And I would suggest if you do a lot of seam sealing, or even if you don't do a lot of seam sealing, but you're, you know, getting ready, you got your car all ready to go and you're ready to seam seal everything, spend the money on a good caulk gun. I promise. It makes all the difference. So we were gonna let that sit for a little while. You've seen that I did come in and I did put a little glaze coat in a couple spots, or well, one spot really. So there was some rust pitting down there that the primer I didn't put enough primer on to fill that rust pitting. So we had sanded it down the best we could, and I filled the rest of the rust pitting with that putty, that spot putty. So, and the only reason I did that, we have rust pitting all over this firewall. There's a lot up here at the top, but it gets the chrome trim, so you'll never see it. And then most of it's down below. That once this car is all put together, you're never going to see it. So I'm not worried about that. But this area over here is now going to be open. There's not going to be anything really over there. At least not that I know of, not yet. If we do end up running AC, there will probably be the AC lines that go in right there, but it'd just be 2 lines, you know, 2 rubber hoses. So that's not a whole lot. And then, you know, the only other thing would be, you know, maybe turbo, you know, build some cool exhaust and have a turbo sitting up there. You know, I don't know. I don't know why you would put a turbo way back there, but I have been looking at like Amazon turbo kits, and for a 350 twin turbo kit, they're like $1,500. So who knows? Maybe one day I may give those Amazon turbos a try. I have looked them up on YouTube to see like if other people are doing them and what they thought of them. And from what I have seen, people are kind of doing the same thing. Like, for $1,500, let's give it a shot. What could go wrong? And people seem to be surprised by them. So we'll see. All right, we'll be back in a little bit. Like I said, tube says half hour. I think we're gonna give it an hour. We may be back here shortly to start masking it off. I don't think it would hurt to mask it off while that stuff's drying, so we'll be back. Another thing that I wanted to say, you've seen after I put the seam sealer on, I went back with an acid brush and pulled it with the acid brush. Now, me personally, I don't like doing that. I don't think it looks good. I would much rather use my finger and have a very nice smooth pull than have a goopy brush look, but that's factory for these cars, and I didn't remove all of it to go through and do it the way that I like it. I maybe removed 10% of what's on the entire car. So to match what's already on there, I use the acid brush. So just thought I'd come back and tell you guys that. I meant to say something when we were doing it. And yeah. So just trying to match what they did in the factory. That's all. Okay. Back over here, we're going to start taping it off. I still do have that little spot down there that we need to sand up. I'm going to let that dry as long as possible. I've actually been painting some hardware for the Jeep over there, since we're going to be painting this. I'm getting those painted so that we can clear it all together. I have to assemble some of the stuff on the Jeep tomorrow, and I need the hardware painted. So let's start masking it off. I'm going to leave the car cover on there. And we're going to mask it off and put paper up, and then we're going to come back over with plastic, and just cover over everything with the plastic. Reason being is there's a bunch of stuff leaned up against the back of the car. There's parts on the back of the car that all need to be covered anyway, so we'll just leave it up there and just cover everything all in one shot. So alright, we're just gonna get this guy wiped down. I gotta finish painting the stuff over here, and then we'll be over here to, I gotta get the color mixed up, and we are trying out the new, well, new to me, Black Widow spray gun from Harbor Freight. I'll explain a little bit more about the gun when I get over here with it in my hand. So, see you guys back here in a minute. Okay, so getting ready to mix up some paint for the Monte Carlo. This is the first thing other than using POR 15 or undercoat that has been painted. This is the first bit of the actual color that is going on this vehicle. So I know it's probably a little premature, but like I said, I want to get the motor put in, and I don't want to have to pull it back out to paint the firewall. So I use Limco paint. I get it from Arnies paint shop in Joliet, Illinois. And we are using a GM color, and it is WA8555, which is a standard black from 1984 to now. So well, at least it says, okay, so it says 1984 to 1996 on it. So in 84 Monte Carlo, that would have been black. This would have been the black that was on it. But I don't know necessarily that I believe that. This color could go way farther back. It just may be under a different code back then. But I could tell you right now, this is the color for Colleen's Colorado, which is a 2018. So, so I'm not positive. I'd have to look up how to read this, but I think the 29U is the color. And the reason that I say that is because, like, I bet if I go look, well, Colleen's Colorado's not here at the moment, but if I go look that up, it's gonna say like 8555U. That's what it'll say. So I'm almost positive that the 29U is the blue that was originally on that cart. Don't quote me on that, or don't hold me to that, but I believe that that's it, because I know, like, WA, I don't know why they changed it like that. I couldn't tell you the actual purpose for it, but I know, like, every time you're ordering paint for a Chevy, it's always WA and then the paint code. But if you actually look at the paint tag that's in the vehicle, it's not going to say WA. It's going to say like 8555U. I don't know. I don't know why it works like that, but that's the way that it works. But yes, so this is actually the color for Colleen's Colorado. Now, the videos haven't been released yet for her Colorado, but there has been some work done to that. There's some more work that is being done to that, and those videos will be coming out soon. And so we're getting paint for that, and I asked her if she wanted the Monte Carlo to match, and she said yes. So her Monte Carlo will match her Colorado. So that's the reason that we went with that color. And yeah. So let me get this mixed up. Colleen's messaging me right now. She's actually on vacation. She's in Michigan with her mom. So let me message her back and see what she's got going on and get this paint mixed up, and we will be back to start painting this firewall. Okay, just coming back at the end of this video, I just want to check in with you guys. This was for the opening of this Black Widow from Harbor Freight. And I just want to say, you know, we got that fitting that screws in here, and unfortunately, you can already see that there's paint leaking. I did put thread tape on the bottom. I put lacquer thinner in here to see how it would do, and it just started leaking everywhere. So I put thread tape on the bottom, and apparently I should have put thread tape on the top as well, because we are leaking paint out of here. So just if you guys are going to get this set up, you have to use thread tape. So again, not the best setup, I think, but it was the only thing I was able to find. And if this is how you're gonna do it, gotta use some thread tape. So see you guys later. Okay, we're back. I've wiped this down. I got paint in the gun. So this is the Harbor Freight Black Widow by Spectrum. I just got this, and this is the HTE. It's not the HVLP. This is supposed to be like the best of both worlds. So we're gonna check it, see how it is. From the research that I've done, most people say that that this is strictly just a clear gun. But there are some people out there that say that they're using it for both and they have no problems. Only complaint I have about this gun is being able to put these cups on here. This gun is designed for the disposable cups, and they do not make anything to put these kind of cups on here. There will be a link in the unboxing video. There will be a link below. Maybe Colleen will put the link below in this video as well for this universal adapter to be able to put this on here. But I'm going to tell you right now, you have to thread tape it, otherwise paint's going to leak all over the place. It was the only adapter anywhere that I was able to find. Just one. I was able to find one, and that was it. So, and I researched, looked everywhere. I'm not a fan of those disposable cups, and I do not want to start using them. Spectrum, the people who make this gun, you need to make an adapter that goes for these cups for the people like me. So don't force me to use those universal cups. I do not like them. I'm not a fan of them. But this is the first time we're using this. We're going to check it out. We're going to get some paint on here. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, well, we got some black on there. First bit of paint on the Monte Carlo. Exciting. I'm gonna put a couple more coats on it, and we'll get it all solid, one color. And then we'll put a couple coats of clear on it, and we will be back to show you the finished product. Maybe later this evening, probably tomorrow morning, I will show you guys the finished product. I don't know if you guys have seen me paint a whole lot in here because the Jeep is so far behind in the videos. Just so that you guys know, the Jeep videos are not up to date. Because I video out here every day, 6 days a week on that Jeep. So I would literally, I don't have time to do this, and neither does Colleen. Colleen is the one that edits everything, and she does not have time. I would have to put a video out every day on that Jeep to be able to keep up with it, and we just can't do that. So if you see over here, there is Jeep parts all lined up that have been painted. There's still more to do, but like we are in the painting session of that Jeep. And I don't like videoing when I'm painting because I don't want to ruin my camera. So I show you guys a little bit in the beginning, and then I put the camera away and I show it to you guys when it's done. It's not that I'm trying to hide anything from you guys, I just don't want to ruin my camera. These GoPros are very expensive, and for me to be able to replace them, it's tough. So I don't want to ruin them. So we will see you guys back here when it's all nice and shiny. Good morning, everybody. It's the next morning. We did get this painted last night. Other than a little wet sanding and buffing on our little flat area here, just because it's such a flat area and you're going to see it. There's a couple dirt nibs in there. But other than that, it came out really good. I'm super happy with it. So I had mentioned in the video how one of the things that I painted recently that we had seam sealed had bubbled up, and I don't know if you guys are picking it up in the camera right here in this. So even waiting, you know, we waited at least an hour, if not a little longer, before we put anything over that seam sealer, which states 30 minutes on the back of the tube. It still bubbled up there. So, you know, I'm thinking now, like, that gets covered by a piece of chrome, so it doesn't really matter in this case. The other one, on the other hand, that one, it has to be repainted. So, you know, it's a big deal on that one. That one you can see. But I'm thinking with that seam sealer, you know, next time I'm gonna apply it and we're going to let it sit, you know, till the next day, I guess. When we seam seal stuff, we're just gonna have to wait. Like I said, not a big deal here. And it didn't do it everywhere. Like, it did it a little bit right there, and it did it a little bit over there. But like up here it's fine, over here it's fine. Like, I don't know, you know, it looks like it did it a little bit over here. But, you know, not a big deal. I'm not really too worried about it. It's inside the engine compartment. Once everything's all put together, like, you know, half the stuff you won't even see. So, but I think it came out sharp. I'm happy with it. I like the way that our new gun sprays. You know, the one thing, like I said, you know, reading through other people's, you know, views on that gun, you know, people were saying, like, it's a clear gun, it's not a base gun. Some people were saying that they used it for both. We didn't have no problems with runs or anything like that. The orange peel, so when I sprayed with that gun, like, that's straight out of the box. Like, I didn't mess with nothing other than the fan control and then the air that's on my regulator that I put on the gun. Other than that, nothing. It was just straight out of the box is how I sprayed it. Orange peel, nice clean factory looking orange peel, which is perfectly fine for the inside of this firewall. Now this car on the outside, when we do paint this car, like, this car will get zeroed out, so it will be flat. But I think with a little adjustment, a little playing with this gun, I could probably get maybe a little bit more air pressure. I could probably get that orange peel down to next to nothing. I really like the way that the gun sprayed. The base coat, when I was spraying the base coat, like, first coat, I know this is black, but like, first coat, like, it was covered. Like, it really put that base on. So, you know, I think a little bit of adjusting, maybe die back, or not die back, but tune down the fluid flow on the gun so that there's not as much fluid going through when you're basing. And then I think that it wouldn't apply. It's so heavy. With us using the black, it wasn't that big of a deal. But when we're going to be going through and doing metallic, something like this, that's a metallic, I think, we're gonna have to probably dye back that fluid control on it a little bit. But other than that, I'm happy with the way the gun sprayed. I think it sprayed awesome. It looks good. I'm happy with the way that this came out. So right now, I'm gonna end the video here, but I'm probably gonna pull. I'm gonna pull the tape like around, our stuff that's coming out of the firewall. And then other than that, yeah, I don't really think that there's a reason to unmask it. I think I'm just gonna throw some plastic over it so that we don't waste it with dust, because I got some sand in to do today. And I just don't want to waste it with dust. So, I think I'm just gonna untape these couple of things that we masked off, and then I'm gonna pull the plastic out from underneath the paper and over the top of that, and then that's it. So we will see you guys back here next Monday for probably getting, probably what we'll do is we'll probably just wet sand and buff this area and get that done and cleaned up. And then we'll unmask it. And then we'll either do the inside of the fenders and get those done, or if I can go get the motor mounts, we'll have to see. Like I said, Colleen is on vacation right now, and she is she's my wheels. I don't drive, so I can't get around without her. So when she gets back, maybe we can go up and get some motor mounts. I already went up there and I already talked to them. They do not carry them in stock, so I will have to give them a call and get those ordered. They should be in next day or within a couple days at least. We're just getting them from O'Reilly's. I was able to do some research and found that in 1983, that was the first year that they came out with the SS Monte Carlo that came with 305s. 305 is same setup as the 350, so we're just going to order factory motor mounts for the 305, and hopefully they'll just bolt right in. I said before that there are multiple holes in the frame where the motor mounts went, so there's several different options for motor mounts on this frame. Now in 1981, which is what this car is, there was only two motor choices in 81, and it was the V6 and then the turbocharged V6. So if any of those holes are for different motors in there, I don't know if they're going to be for a V8 or not. I don't know what, I'm sure I could probably find out, like, what other vehicles was this frame used under. It's a GM vehicle, so it could have been used under the Buick Regal. It could have been used under the Grand Prix. So there's, other vehicles that this possibly could have been used for that would have had a 305 or a 350 in it. Like I know the Grand Prix, they came with an old 350 in them. So, and they're all G-body cars. So could have been one frame used for all the vehicles. Some of those holes could be for a small block. So we will see. If not, it's nothing more than just, bolting the motor mounts to the motor, setting the motor in place with the transmission, putting the drive shaft in, finding where everything is going to sit, mark the holes, drill them, and we're in. So shouldn't be that big of a deal, but we're going to get the motor mounts here real soon. I don't know if we'll have them by next Monday, so we may be painting the fenders. I'll talk to Colleen about it. Maybe I will get them ordered this week, so then that way over the weekend when Colleen gets back, she'll be back on Friday, we can go pick up those motor mounts and have them here for Monday. So but yeah, we'll see. So we'll have to put the transmission back on the motor. I'll have to dig out the drive shaft. I'll have to dig out the trans mount. We need to make sure that all lines back up. Yeah, so fun. We're getting somewhere. Also going to have to dig out. I have a painless wiring kit here somewhere. I know where it's at. I just got to dig it out. So we'll have to get that out, and we'll work on over the next few weeks. We'll work on seeing if we can actually get this motor in and running. So anyways, it's been fun. We got a lot of work done yesterday. I got a lot of talking done today. I will talk to you guys later. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. See you guys next Monday. I'm out.
Oh,